So do you know the history here?
No, a very
Okay.
little.
So Sonia and Simone caused you two 39-year-old twins, right?
Mhm.
They endured a lot of post-traumatic stress, or they are going through a lot of
Mhm.
post-traumatic stress disorder from their childhood.
Okay.
Sexual abuse,
Mhm.
physical abuse,
Okay.
verbal abuse, suicide, lack of self-love, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lack of self-worth.
Mhm.
Never been on a date before.
Okay.
Never had a boyfriend.
Mm-mm.
Never had a kiss.
No, I have.
One.
I have me.
You have two?
No, a hug.
A
That's
hug.
it.
She has a hug. She's
I
got
had
a
the
hug.
kiss.
She's had one
I
kid
had the
at
kiss.
16.
Not 16.
16 years
Yeah.
old. And she said she would have did more, but she was cock blocking, she said. You've been a doctor, psychologist. After hearing the short version, outgoing, outspoken, the one that took the most abuse as a child growing up,
Okay.
quiet, passive, clingy to her sister. The outspoken twin
Mhm.
meets people, talks to guys. She does events. She does things. The quiet twin kind of sits back in the cut, like,
In the background. Yeah.
in the background,
Mm-hmm.
but jump in the DM.
Okay.
Now, to me, it's not fair. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I know it ain't fair.
So that sounds like a sibling rivalry.
Okay,
That sounds like a situation where they're competing for resources.
right.
And so they usually start in childhood, and they usually are the result of competing for parents' love, parents' attention, things like that.
Did you guys do that?
Mm-mm.
What about with Stefan?
Oh, yeah.
Stefan, yeah.
So they have a brother that's younger, 6 years younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had mother's undying attention and love when
Okay.
they didn't have it.
Gotcha.
So, do you think in a more underlying manner, you were kind of like doing the same thing to your sister now?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. And like I said,
Can you hear him?
siblings usually they compete again for attention and resources.
Mm-hmm.
So it can also be like objects. You know, kids have sibling rivalries over toys, over video games, over clothes. So
Over boy toys.
yeah, they usually peak around the ages of 10 to 15, and a decent percentage go on into adulthood. And then now you're competing with houses and cars and who has the best husband and or the best wife, things like that. So they can last a whole lifetime. I think you guys is doubly complex. Just listening. For one, you have that established sibling rivalry. That's one side of the psychology of it. The other psychology is the evolutionary aspect of wanting to pass down your genes, wanting to live some type of legacy, etc. It's human nature to want to do that. And so with you guys being like 39, never being in a real romantic relationship, somewhere consciously and or subconsciously, you're realizing like, hey, if I don't make a connection with someone, I may not pass down my genes.
All right.
And so it's like, not only is evolution pushing you guys towards this rivalry, but also just that established, way of interacting that you guys have developed.
So how do we break the systemic need to subconsciously do the things like that?
Well, that's some deep stuff. That's something you really would have to sit in a counseling session and just talk about the different thoughts, emotions, feelings, things like that drive you to want to, for example, go and DM your sister's friend. It could be an automatic thought. Sometimes they call them ants, automatic negative thoughts. But sometimes it's systematic. It's like, okay, my sister has a friend. This is how it makes me feel. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Therefore, I need to do something to get out of this discomfort. And in that case, it's like, I'm going to intrude on this attention that she's getting so that I feel a little better at the expense of my sister's feelings or her thoughts. And so it's step one is kind of just confronting yourself and catching yourself, when you're when you're experiencing that pain, being able to imagine yourself not engaging in rivalistic behavior. And so kind of being one step ahead of the other, just saying, I'm not feeling good. I'm instinctively or impulsively wanting to do something to feel better. I'm sacrificing my sister's psychology. I need to stop. And you're going to make mistakes along the way, but as long as you can know when you're being triggered, you can make adjustments.
No.
How did she find out? Because she asked me why I
Sonya
let
bust
her
me
do it.
out. She didn't show her the whole
I didn't
video.
show. I showed her the promotional.
She showed her the promo video you
Why?
made. I don't know.
See right there. Pause.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it would be that bad, so that's why I showed
We
her.
talked about that on the last show by not letting Granny know.
Y'all, she does that. I don't know if she wants Granny to not like me or whatever. She'll go just to do it, and
I
I,
know.
don't know why I do it, but yeah, I just told her and
That's
said
all-
it's not
all
that
beha-
bad.
all behavior
I didn't
has
think
a
it was that
purpose.
bad.
No.
All
Say
behavior,
again?
all behavior has a purpose. So you're not because you're not a robot. Before you engage in a certain type of behavior, you think it through, and so there's a purpose for it. There's a goal for it, and as I said earlier, you got to kind of confront yourself. Because if you just say, "I don't know why I do what I do," you're not taking responsibility for your actions, and therefore you're less likely to change, and you're going to keep on
Repeating the same thing.
exactly, which is hurting your sister, or competing with your sister at least.
It is, and I felt like she does this all the time to me. And like when I was younger and stuff, I always felt the need to, like, my mom always said the same thing. Why do you do that to your sister? And I even, like, my mom at one point, like, she was kind of jealous of me too. And that's why I think she treated me the way she did, because I don't know, my mom was like that too. So she had some kind of resentment towards me. And
Okay. Yeah, I think so. There has to be an element or a lack of self-awareness somewhere. And when I say self-awareness, basically understanding how people, places, things, events, situations, how they have affected you and how they have shaped you. Who you are right now is 50% genetic, but the other 50% is environmental, meaning the things that I experience or I'm exposed to in my environment, they help shape me into who I am today. And so sometimes people don't have self-awareness, so they don't, not only do they not know how they're totally wired, they don't know sometimes, like you said earlier, why I do what I do. But I think you got to reflect. You got to sit down and do some self-reflection and ask yourself, how has life affected me? How did my parents affect me? How does my sister affect me? How does my job affect me, et cetera, et cetera. So you can say, okay, this is how I'm functioning. These are the areas of functioning I want to change. And then again, sitting down with someone and starting to come up with a strategy for making those changes. But in the meantime, if you don't gain that self-awareness, like Myrick said, it's going to trickle down to the next generation. Because essentially, both of you guys are kind of already too enmeshed, and y'all need to at some point unmesh to some degree. But not only are y'all meshed together, y'all also have went through the same environmental curriculum or social curriculums, relational curriculum, meaning you had the similar experiences growing up. So not only do you have those similar experiences, y'all just like this so it's even more. It's almost like the capacity to pass down the negativity is maximized because it's two people. It's almost like two brains
right.
working to pass down a set of maybe values and behaviors and things like that that's not going to be healthy for the next generation. Yeah, so self-awareness is going to be critical for you, but then also confronting yourself, challenging yourself, and getting help and just practicing a new set of behaviors.
Understandable.
Okay. She's like, whatever.
No, I hear what you're saying. It's not
That's what
going
I'm-
out the other. I'm listening. Older.
Simone, right?
Yeah.
So thinking about the historical context of all your interactions since childhood, what's your hypothesis or theory as to why she showed your grandmother?
She wants my grandma to feel some type of way about me. I don't know.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You did the same thing with mom. Same thing.
What did I do with mom?
Same thing.
Give us one example.
Undermine me, make me seem like I'm the bad person when she's doing like certain things. Like she the good twin, I'm the bad twin, and all this other stuff.
I think everything you said makes sense. I think the question for her is, do you want those boundaries? Because again, you guys have been like this.
Yeah,
Okay,
I do.
Okay, so I think you guys need to have that conversation. Meaning, these are the areas of my life that I want to myself. These are the areas of my life that I'm willing to share, and vice versa. Simone, Sonya, okay. Simone, Sonya, okay. Sonya needs to do the same thing. Hey, these are the boundaries that I want. These are the areas of my life I want to myself. I'm willing to share these areas with you, and then you guys have to begin to be intentional about making sure you don't cross each other's boundaries. But until you have that conversation, until you lay out those specifics, it's going to always be messy. Meaning, I didn't know you was going to trip over that because, again, y'all been crossing boundaries for 39 years. So sometimes you don't even know when you're offending someone or crossing a line. So y'all got to make those lines definitive.
What did you want her to say? You know she was gonna be mad about it.
Yes, I knew she was gonna be mad.
You just did it.
I just did it.
So, and I'm not trying to gang on you because we probably can do a show and you be in the hot seat. But it sounds like it's a disregard for how she feels. Meaning, for a laugh, I'm willing to engage in a behavior that I know is going to hurt my sister. And so in that moment, you might not be thinking that this is malicious and this is maybe borderline hateful, but at the end of the day, it is a disregard for her personhood. And so again, it goes back to confronting yourself, saying, you know what? At that moment, I just didn't give a care about my sister. I just wanted this moment to be about me and maybe me getting a laugh or me getting the satisfaction of seeing Simone taken down a notch by grandma, and now that puts me up a notch a little bit. So again, you gotta just be real with yourself. The pain that you're feeling right now, let it move you. You know, sometimes that's the purpose of pain, to initiate a response. So you gotta ask yourself, in this moment of vulnerability, what am I gonna do to change? And I think you guys will be okay.
Like I said, I don't know why she feels the need to always have to compete with me all the time. That's what I feel. Why do you have the need to compete with me?
Well, I was told that if she, I don't know, got more attention because she, I don't know, opened up more, and people think she's prettier than me, but we the same person. We look the same, but I may just feel, I don't know.
But you are beautiful.
I feel like that.
And I think that's where the whole thing starts, is you having to feel that you're beautiful. And there's not a man on this earth that can validate your beauty if you don't validate your beauty within.
I hope I answered it right.
Yeah.
I think it's just the obsessive comparing of yourself to your sister. And so until you stop doing that, you're going to continue to examine your life, examine her life, have a sense of envy, and consciously and subconsciously express that envy towards your sister. And so the only time you should compare yourself to your sister is if it actually motivates you to change. So if you're like, man, Simone driving, I gotta go get my license, I gotta get my car, all of those things I need, it should find a way to start letting those comparisons motivate you. If you don't know how to do that, then it has to be I don't compare myself to my sister. But the mindset is, again, is almost like she's your mirror, kind of like a mirror, and it's kind of like you look at her, you look at yourself, you look at her, you look at yourself, you get jealous, and you act out. And some of the time, she's, of course, the receiver of that acting out.
Mm-hmm.
So how does she change her mindset? And I know there's a lot of work that has to take place.
I would definitely, while you're in this, I guess, pain and thought process, sit with it, embrace it, and like Savannah said, write down what you're thinking about, and then write down what changes you want to make. And then hopefully some thoughts will come about how to go about making those changes. And then maybe go back and read what you write down on like Sunday or Monday, or in moments where you see yourself comparing yourself again, remind yourself about, hey, this is how wrong I thought what I was doing was. So let me remind myself that I need to quit doing these things, because it won't change overnight. Your brain has built the neurons necessary to compel you to compare yourself to your sister. So you got to build new neurons in your brain. And that's going to take intentionality. So, like I said, Savannah hit it on the nose. You need to sit with that pain, write, and pull it out periodically to remind yourself of the significance of why you need to change, make some changes.